Hello, friends. Welcome to my Saw 10 review. Saw 10 is the 10th movie of the Saw franchise and is directed and edited by Kevin Grotert and stars Tobin Well and Shawnee Smith. It is a prequel of Saw 2 and a direct sequel of the first installment. I'll start off with a free spoiler review and continue on with the spoiler review with a fair warning beforehand. The story follows John Kramer, who travels to Mexico in hopes of getting a medical experimental procedure to cure his cancer. But when he learns that his treatment was all make believe, he hunts down those responsible and sets traps for them, along with his new apprentice Amanda Young. The victims must survive the traps and get out alive after when they find redemption. I've been a huge fan of the Saw films for a while now. While I don't like a lot of them, I do think that Saw 1, 2, and 3 and 6 are pretty good horror movies. I think that this one is right there with them, and it's a pretty strong entry in the horror franchise. Tobin Bell is the star of this movie, and that's unusual compared to the other films of the franchise where he is only there for several minutes. Tobin Bell is a great hero, and he gives even more dimension to Jigsaw than he did previously in the other films. The first 20 minutes actually offer a lot of character build-up, and that is needed in a movie like this because what it does is it humanizes our main protagonist, or antagonist, I should say, and it makes us hate the people Jigsaw is going after. This movie feels important to the overall Saw franchise, which I also appreciate. There are a lot of different kinds of traps here and a lot of gory ones. We've seen, however, gorier in the Saw franchise, and most traps are entertaining. There is a good amount of gore in this film, and if you are a fan of this area of the franchise, of this aspect of the franchise, then you won't be disappointed. The acting is decent all around. Tobin Bell is clearly the best actor in the film, but Shawnee Smith has always been a favorite as Amanda, and I'm glad that she's back here. The victims are also really unlikable this time around, and the actors do a good job portraying the assholes. Especially the actress that plays Cecilia. She's a really terrible person, and the actress just does a good job portraying the character. The pacing is also very good, and the movie went by very fast. It's a good 90-minute thriller, and I never felt bored watching it. As for flaws, the ending wasn't as strong as I wanted it to be, and the twist is somewhat predictable. There are a couple of twists and turns, and some are good and some are bad, but it didn't take up from the overall experience. It isn't that bad, but it's not as strong as the first two acts. Also, it's a very different Saw movie that we are used to, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Some traps are impossible, they don't offer a way out of some victims, and that does throw away the point of Jigsaw's philosophy. If you're not a fan of the series up to this point, then don't watch this movie. It won't win you over. It's more of the same old, but here it's a really well done film. So I would suggest if you're a fan of the Saw series, then definitely watch this one. But if you don't, then skip this one altogether. It's not the movie for you. Now we're gonna talk spoilers, and if you haven't seen this yet, shut this off, come back to the rest of this review, and enjoy the movie. There are a few plot points that I wanted to touch upon that are considered spoilers here. Most of the traps I liked. It was too bad that Valentina didn't make it. She successfully cut off her leg, and while she didn't pour enough blood before the timer ended, I think she could have still be given a pass. I mean, she really did do most of the job, and it just she ran out of time, but like she was almost there. I think she could have maybe have gotten the pass from dying. I also didn't think that Matteo drilling into his skull could have led to a successful recovery. He would have died on the spot, and that goes against the Jigsaw's code. If you successfully get out of the trap, you need enough time to heal, and you need enough time to get out. I mean, he drilled into his brain, so I don't understand how he could have made it out alive. That didn't make any sense to me. And the ending twist was a bit much, in my opinion. They could have found a way to end things without the kid around and just have Amanda and John be one of the traps. I think the filmmakers wanted to show that Jigsaw would never harm a kid and that he isn't all that evil, but I don't feel like we needed the kid present. I also think that to have Cecilia alive at the end until was kind of a waste. She's clearly the worst of all of them, and even though she was imprisoned, she still survived. It feels a bit anticlimactic. It really does, but I understand what they were going for, and maybe like she had the will to survive. Out of all of them, she really did, but I thought that since she was the worst one, she was the one that we wanted to see suffer the most, and we didn't get that, and I was a bit disappointed with that. But nevertheless, this film was still enjoyable enough. It's been a while since we've had a good solid film in theaters, and I was entertained throughout the movie. I'd recommend it if you are a fan of the franchise. In a post-credits scene, you find out what happened to Henry Kessler, the man who told John Kramer about the fake surgery. He is tied up in the old bathroom from the first film, and we also see Hoffman, who is already helping John Kramer, which was a surprise for me. I didn't think he was already helping him from that early on. I never really liked the Hoffman character at all, but he is still canon, and you have to respect that, I guess. So yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this movie. It's fun. It's got some really intense gore traps. It's got the John Kramer. We haven't seen him like this in a while. Like he has the most screen time in the entire movie, which is a first for a Saw movie, and I really appreciate that because he's my favorite character in the franchise. And yeah, if you really want to have to start October off with the bloody good time, I would suggest going to see Saw 10. I think it's a good, entertaining movie. It's not gonna win any Oscars. It's not the best movie of the year, but it's a decent time for what it is. So I'll probably give this movie a B. I think it's very entertaining, and I think it's a fun time at the movies. If you like this, please subscribe. Let me know what you thought of Saw 10 down below. See you next time.